Guys, I wanted to quickly break down a super important topic today, which is fasting. Now, I think this is one of those things that you hear people talk about all the time, whether it be from a secular or a Catholic Christian perspective, but very few people give the reasons why or also how to do it. It's like you should fast. Okay, cool, I'm on board, but what do I actually do? So hopefully I can get into that a bit in this video. Now, the first point I think it's very important to make is that fasting is not just this thing reserved for the elite or the saints of the past. Fasting is something that is encouraged heavily through all of Christian tradition and is still present today. It's not like it in 1960, this whole thing was thrown out the window and we're no longer required to fast. It's a very, very important part of our faith. Now, starting from our Lord Jesus himself, fasted 40 days in the desert. All of those things that Jesus did in his life during his public ministry were examples for us to follow. So Christ is already setting the standard. The apostles also talked about this a lot in their letters about there's only demons that can only be cast out by prayer and fasting, that you've got to die to the deeds of the flesh in order to live in the spirit. So throughout all of Christian tradition, it's not a denial of the flesh. You know, this isn't some sort of Gnostic thing where we become purely spiritual beings, but there's an understanding that because our human natures are fallen, because we are concupiscent beings who often desire and do what is evil, there's a big part of our lives where we have to train and subject the body to the will, enlightened by faith, in order to help us become good and in order to help us become better people. Now, if you're professing Christian beliefs, but you're never actually channeling or controlling your body in the right way, it's like, yeah, I believe sex before marriage is bad, I believe masturbation is wrong, but whenever I have the desire to do that, I just follow it because it's too hard to resist. Well, there's a lack of follow-through between what you believe and living those beliefs through your body. Now, sexual sin is obviously sin. We're meant to resist that. How do we train ourselves to resist temptations? The way that we resist temptations is by resisting other comforts and pleasures in life, which aren't illicit, they're not sins, but they're still comfortable and pleasurable to our body. So when we constantly deny ourselves and we make a practice of self-denial, it means that when the bad things come, when we are actually tempted to do things that are genuinely sinful or hurtful towards another person, I've already been saying no to myself for the past 365 days. I've been doing weekly fasts. I've been taking cold showers. I've been subjecting my flesh to training in the gym and enduring hardship. My character is becoming a character that denies the flesh on a daily basis in different ways. So there's a certain growth. There's the true meaning of the word discipline. We must discipline ourselves in order that us, our characters, our will, our bodies, our passions actually behave correctly. And that's where fasting comes in. Now you might ask, why is there this super specific focus on fasting as opposed to like other hardships like cold showers or by maybe sleep fasting, like staying up at night praying, which is all things that the church has done? The reason fasting is the number one thing. It's the only mortification that's actually the only penance that's required by the church nowadays. Sure, it's only on Ash Wednesday and Good Friday. Those are the only 2 days where it's mandated by church law that you must fast. It's still something that's encouraged by the church. Now, why fasting? We eat all day. We eat every day. As human beings, we're dependent on food. Being hungry is probably the most common sensation to all of us every day because we eat something, then we work for a few hours and we're hungry again. So it's something that we're deeply familiar with. what we desire as humans is to always have something in our bellies. We want to be content. We have dinner, we feel nice, we're full, we're always snacking, we're always drinking water, we're always keeping the body fed and fueled. So when you wake up on a Friday or another day of the week, and from second one, you're denying that appetite, you're denying that hunger, you're saying, well, look, I'm feeling super hungry, I need this energy, but for the next 7 hours till lunchtime, for the next 12 hours, 14 hours till dinner, I'm not putting a single bit of food in my mouth. Throughout that whole period of time, you're keenly aware of the fact that you're hungry. So not only does it make it difficult for us to do our normal day because we don't have heaps of energy, but it's also a thing that sits with you. Like, it's quite hard to ignore. I mean, you can if you work a lot and, you drink water and stuff, but it's hard and it's meant to be hard. So don't think that, you're meant to fast, but you want to make it as easy as possible, or you want to have all of these electrolytes and sort of like you're kind of trying to fast without the downsides of fasting, which is the point that it's meant to be hard. It's meant to be hard, so don't run away from that. So that's the sort of why it's important to fast. But, all the saints will say, as I said before, it's kind of about building your character of self-denial. If you don't deny yourself with food, it's very difficult to deny yourself in other areas, because like a cold shower only lasts 2 minutes. Not watching Netflix is easy because I can just do something else, but there's no kind of replacement for not eating. And as I said, it's also that one desire, that one passion of ours, which is completely interwoven in our day, because when we're skipping meals, it's not like we can breathe air and get energy from that way. So it's something irreplaceable. It's something fundamental to our nature. It's also a very basic human animal desire to eat. So it's a great way to sort of exercise the power of the will and the soul over the body. So I think those and many other reasons as to why the church has always encouraged us to do this. Now, there's two aspects in terms of the purpose of fasting, which is sort of more exteriorly. I guess firstly, I'd say that people seem to think that fasting is super detrimental to the body and that you'll lose heaps of weight and stuff. If you actually read the science that's coming out about fasting, it's very beneficial on a physical level. You enter this autophagus or autophagy state where your cancerous or old dying cells will actually be consumed for energy. So you actually heal your body in that way. You also get increased testosterone and human growth hormone because your body goes into that hunting mode where it's like, I need to start pulling fuel from other parts of my body. I need to increase my alertness levels because I'm hungry, which means that I need to hunt an animal. So you actually increase many healthy hormones in your body by doing a regular fast. So yeah, it's not deficient to us on a physical level. Second point, however, is that we don't fast for ourselves personally. Why do we fast? We fast for the sake of something greater. We fast to make ourselves more disciplined, more virtuous, more able to serve others with a view to the outside, with a view to the exterior. We also offer our fast for other people. I'm not just going to not eat and think about myself and think, oh, how holy I am. Well, number one, you don't tell people that you're fasting. It's in the Gospels, it says to rub oil on your face and drink water to make yourself not, don't have like a drawn face in other people so they don't know that you're fasting. You don't do it for others. You do it for the sake of building yourself up to be a better man, and you can also offer that sacrifice and offer that suffering as an intercessory prayer, as an intercessory offering of this denial that you're now going through. You fast for your wife. You fast for your children. You fast for your family. You fast for family members away from the faith. You fast for anything that requires fasting in the world. It could be as big as abortion. It could be as big as the church, which is wounded in so many ways. It could be for the sake of our fallen brothers and sisters. It could be the sake of Protestants, people away from the faith, people who you know in your life who are really in need of Jesus Christ and his salvation. All of these things you can fast towards and offer it up. Our Lady in the apparition of Fatima said that many souls go to hell because they have no one to pray and fast for them. You need to look into that more, but you go through these apparitions, you go through what the saints have said about fasting and prayer. You're just going to get a much stronger awareness of how necessary and essential this is to have in your life. Final point, prayer is always united with fasting. We don't just deny the flesh or do these sacrificial practices for no reason or for a gratuitous reason where it's like good for us to hit goals or whatever. It's always got to be united with prayer. When you fast, when you have a cold shower, when you go to the gym, when you do anything that requires hardship, you do it in imitation of the cross. You do it to become more united to Christ. You do it to stand with Our Lady at the foot of the cross and gaze upon him who gave his life for us. You do it with a unity of your will to the will of God and to the will of Jesus Christ, and that you might be able to lay your life down like he did if you're ever called to do that. That's why we do all of this. So yeah, I'm sure there's more reasons that we can talk about here. I just wanted to cover that very quickly. The history and tradition of fasting, much more I could have gotten into there. The old Eucharistic fasts are really cool to look into. Fasting as a personal thing where it's not actually detrimental to your body, but the true purpose of fasting, which is something exterior to yourself. It's either to help, well, it is to both build you up as a person, not to build you up physically or in strength. I guess it's inner strength that you're building, and to offer that fasting for the sake of others. That's really what it's all about. Not something you've got to shout from the rooftops, but a discipline that as a man, you must incorporate. There's no man or saint in Christian history who did not fast regularly. This is not something that's for the healthy and the young or for the people who are called to sanctity. Fasting is for every single one of us because it's one of these key practices given to us by our Lord and the church to make us saints. All right, God bless.